Welcome to this week's midweek devotion. When you do something wrong, or let's say you hurt somebody, it is really, really hard to face up to them. It's hard to face up to what you've done, and it's difficult to admit that you're wrong because deep down you realize you can't really pay back what you've done. It's a hard experience. Well, as a Christian, I've seen a lot of Christians, including sometimes myself, wanting to just give up on our walk with God because we know God's holy, perfect law. And we also know how badly we've broken it. We've sinned against others, we've sinned against ourselves. Ultimately, we've all sinned against God. And you just don't want to feel like a failure anymore. You don't want to face up to it. Well, last week's readings, it lets us know that we may be afraid to confess. We may feel like, hey, I'm worthless. God doesn't want me anymore. Well, last week's readings really proved that He does. He does love you. And even when you feel unlovable, He still loves you. Listen to a couple of these words. In the Isaiah reading, God said, "Fear not, fear not. I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." He's talking to people who have ran away from Him. He's talking to people that should be afraid of His wrath. But He says the first words, fear not, I have redeemed you. And you think about what it would cost God, what it did cost God to redeem you. It cost the death of His Son. When you look at the cross of Jesus, and when you look at baptism that united you to His death and resurrection, He's not going to give up. He desires to forgive you no matter where you've been, no matter what you've done. If you doubt it, look at His cross. The cross is perfect love that casts away your fear. Hold on to Jesus. Come to His supper, where He says, "This is my body, this is my blood, given and shed for you." Let His love cast away your fear of rejection. God is not going to reject you. He paid too much to redeem you. And He says, "You are mine." He's not ashamed to call you His own, no matter where you've been. And that is good news. Your baptism is a sign, and it's a gift of God's great love for you, where you are united with Jesus, the one who gave all to save you. God's blessings, and we will see you next week for another midweek devotion.